Today I'm creating a new template for social media feed image sizes. I have one in Photoshop and I decided to start creating one in Illustrator. So I thought I would show you my process, and also I always put all the information in the description. I'll put this grid that I have, 2022 social media image sizes. I've got InDesign, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the profile size, landscape, feed size, feed portrait size, square image sizes if applicable, story sizes, that's only applicable to Instagram and Facebook, and the cover sizes. What I would do is I have my feed template that I do when I run a campaign for clients, and then I have profile photo sizes. I have that in another document, and then I have cover sizes generally in another document, so that I can see how the brand will look across image sizes. So in Instagram, I have the square size 1080 by 1080, and I'm doing landscape and then portrait. So I'll start my next size, which is landscape, Instagram, and that's 1080 by 566. So I just go 1080 by 566, and then I name it. I name these all the same. And then I go to my next one, which is going to be my portrait Instagram. These are just slightly different from the Facebook, so it won't be difficult to resize the art for each of these sizes. Then my portrait size Instagram is 1080 by 1350. So I just go here in this grid. I create the artboard using the artboard tool, and then it's here 1080 by 1350, and resize it here. When I created my document, I chose web so that it automatically selected pixels for my units of measure. And then I'll rename this one between these, so I can just shift click and select and drag. And then I'll just align the tops, and I adjust the spacing using the alignment palette. So that's Facebook and Instagram. I'll just put Facebook here. That's Instagram. Then I go to my next batch of feed sizes, which is Twitter. So there's really only one. Go back here to my artboard, and this is 1024 by 512. LinkedIn. LinkedIn. then there's really just the two, the landscape and the portrait. So I'll do the landscape. It is 1200 by 627 pixels. I'll rename it. And then go to my next one. .627 by 1200 pixels. So click OK. Align these. Just label it Twitter. So those are my campaign sizes. With a lot of clients, I'm working within this space here. So I'll show you, for example, how I would place my art for a specific campaign. So for example, I have an older template that I was using. And I was using my blog post version for the Square Instagram. So I just put this as my template here. So any elements that I want across all sizes, I would place on this bottom layer. And I'm just going to lock this for now and put my 922 elements. This is my square. And you might want to adjust spacing depending on what kind of elements you're working with, but I will give you this template here and this grid so you can do what you need to do. And I always put all the descriptions, everything, tools whenever I can, downloads and elements in the description of my tutorials whenever I create them. So then this other one, this is not a blog post element, so I'm just going to move this to a new layer. This is just an example of how you might use these templates. This one I would just resize for a feed. Depends on how you feel you want to crop it. A lot of times I'll use either illustrations or I'll use photos. And I'll put the logo, the client logo, in a consistent spot across all the sizes, and I'll put it on its own separate layer so I can turn it off or reposition it, or I'll track campaigns by client, or sometimes I'll cross over and put different clients within the same file because they share a common theme. It just depends on what works for you. And I create this, a lot of times I have another template that I use in Photoshop as well. So that the more image heavy campaigns, I'll put them in Photoshop just because it's easier to manipulate that way. I can do some Photoshop retouching and just run it across the different campaign sizes. It works a little bit better for photos in Photoshop. But this will be my feed image size for this. You may want to space these out a little bit better, but I'll just give you the generic template. And what's nice about a campaign, a Instagram, Facebook focused campaign, is that the image sizes share across pretty well. So I'll just show you how this art. Just minimal resizing between these two platforms, which is kind of nice. And get the positioning kind of perfect here. I'm holding down the Option Shift key as I drag to duplicate. So that's just a kind of a quick example of how I would use these templates. And then the way I export, I just export for screens, and I can just check off whatever ones I need. I can change the view. So if I only was doing an Instagram, Facebook, I'll just get rid of some of these other ones. And then export. I can even add a suffix. I can choose the format. PNG is good. I can put it in a specific folder, create a subfolder. I like that I can add a suffix. So for example, I could say 0922, and then it'll say .png, whatever my file name is. So it'll name it this, and then it'll say, so I'm going to go ahead actually and save this. And then I'll export this. And there are my files. All named just exactly how I want them named. It's named this layer actually too, the winning social strategy. I had that in my preset. You can obviously customize it. Just here, prefix. So if you wanted to change it to something else, for example, I'll just call it winning strategy. Export artboard, and then there it is, winning strategy. So that's my quick tutorial for today, how to kind of gang up a campaign, check your art consistency across sizes, get a logo or a common element placed across a campaign, and just quickly export it. Then you can just dump these art files into your campaign manager and run a campaign. It does save time this way. So like I said before, I'll give you this grid in the notes, and I will give you this template for your own purposes. Please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.